It is Susanne Wegmann. She is a leading scientist in neuroscience. Hello, Mrs. Wegmann. Nice to have you joining us.
Hello.
You are heading your own research group at the German Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases, such as Alzheimer, a widespread disease. Could you please outline what is it that fascinates and motivates you to investigate these diseases?
Of course. I mean, many aspects of the brain are very fascinating to me and other researchers. And I think trying to understand the complexity of the processes in the brain challenges our own brain capacity. And this challenge kind of drives me and others to do brain research. Myself, I'm very fascinated by how small molecular changes, so molecules like proteins and nucleic acids, how small changes in these building blocks can actually lead to detrimental effects in the brain that then cause memory loss and personality changes. My focus in my science is on a protein called tau. And tau is a protein that helps the nerve cells to stabilize their long extensions in the normal brain. But in Alzheimer's disease and other related diseases, it starts to aggregate and actually kills the nerve cells. How it does that, we don't really know, and we are working hard to lift the secret, actually.
Mm-hmm. Let's understand which other branches of science could benefit from your work, and how do you actually include interdisciplinary perspectives in your work as well?
So in my beliefs, bridging disciplines is a huge opportunity for us to accelerate Alzheimer's disease and other research areas. And I think the future of science is actually in collaborative and interdisciplinary research. Myself, I'm also an interdisciplinary researcher because my background is actually in biotechnology and biophysics of molecules. And only 8 years ago, in 2012, I went to the US, to Boston, to join Brad Hyman and his lab to work at Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Med School on Alzheimer's disease. So that's when I got engaged with the disease. And since 2 years, I'm now back here in Berlin, having my own group and doing a kind of hybrid research. So we are using biochemistry, biophysics, but also looking in human brain samples and using mouse models of the disease to tackle the questions that we are having. To come to your other question, how we basically feed in other branches of science, I think, so since we are operating at the interface of basic science and translational science for therapy development, we are feeding with our results and ideas into drug development and therapy development. And on the other hand, my team and I were getting inspiration from all kinds of other science fields. So I think it's important to, in order to develop an interdisciplinary approach, you have to be always alert about what's going on in other research. So that manifests, for example, that I'm currently reading up on new technologies, on other research fields like cancer biology at the moment, or genomics, protein biophysics, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm. What are the technologies which could push the next breakthrough forward in this field?
If I would know this, I would get funding and get all the best people to work on this. But until then, I think, or I believe that actually technology, the new technologies evolving can bring us quite forward because they open new pathways and new views on the old problem, Alzheimer's disease. So in particular, I think we need new disease models. New disease models going away from mouse models a bit on other animal models, because it becomes quite clear that they are not really mimicking the human brain, surprisingly or not. Mm-hmm. And I think new disease models could be, or that are emerging and important are, for example, human-derived stem cell systems, such as organoids or so-called mini brains that can bring us in an in vitro dish forward in this. And on the therapy side, I think for therapeutic approaches for inherited diseases, there's definitely the new gene therapy tools that are developed are very important and promising to get into human diseases for inherited diseases. And for spontaneous occurring Alzheimer's disease and other dementia diseases. I think we have to move towards more holistic combinatorial diseases, not just tackling one aspect of the disease, but the whole thing.
Mm. Well, it seems these kind of diseases are a very complex problem. What are the key factors for these diseases? Did you find new factors?
So we found some interesting, more biophysical factors that could open up a new research area. So since we work on molecules, what is, I think, also a very interesting finding in the last decade is that a lot of external factors are triggering dementia, or at least increase the risk for dementia. So, for example, it matters what you eat, how much you move, how much stress you have. That all influences your brain and your risk for Alzheimer's and dementia. The digestive system, as an example, is connected to the brain through the gut-brain axis. And with that, your gut microbiome, so what you have in your stomach, is actually influencing your brain function. Mm-hmm. This is a very interesting, quite new field which is emerging now. We also know now that cardiovascular system fitness is really helping your brain to maintain for a longer time its function. So that means you have to have good nutrition, you have to move a lot, walk the stairs instead of taking the elevator, and do not smoke, no too much alcohol, and no bad nutrition. Even pollution, air pollution, is making an impact on your brain. And I think with those easy to change habits, we can already improve our brain function.
For the Berlin Science Week, you have chosen a quite unusual way to communicate your topic. You are hosting a short theater play, followed by a discussion. Why is that?
So I first want to state it's not really my idea. So I'm just got sucked into this, and I really like the idea. That's why I'm taking part in this. So the idea for the play, Du sollst den Wald nicht vor dem Hasen loben, is by Jörn Klare, the piece. And the idea came from Christa Müller, who is a retired actress who was inspired by the piece when she saw it and wanted to play it herself, in part to challenge her own aging brain, which I find very interesting approach for this. And the other main person in this is the director, of course, France Damian, who set that very nicely, this interesting piece, into a living room setting. So it becomes very approachable for people. And the story is about a mother who loses her memory, and then there's this daughter who has all these questions about the past. And yeah, I think you should all see it. It's a very, very interesting play.
Yeah, it sounds very inspiring. Thank you so much, Susanne Wegmann, for this interview. Thanks a lot.